Hello and welcome to Full Stream Ahead. I've been told to talk because my co-host has forgotten his microphone. So we've started as we mean to go on. Thank you for joining us. I'm going to say the stuff that Jamie was supposed to say. So I'm going to plug the Patreon, which is where you can support this channel. We are on patreon.com/fullstreamahead because that's the name of this channel. Our guests tonight are a bit different from what you might be used to. We sort of do mostly classical music here, whereas these guys trained as classical musicians, and some still practice as classical musicians. I know them from college, from the Royal Welsh in Cardiff, and they formed their group to sort of do something a little bit different. And I remember their first performance in the college bar, and they were a huge hit. And it sort of snowballed from there. They got support from college to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. And I suppose I should stop talking about them and give you an idea of what it is they actually do. The first two songs that we're going to hear from them before we actually meet them live on air are Swing Thing and Preacher Man. So the first one is what happens when classical singers attempt jazz, whereas the second is a bit of sketch comedy on the theme of a well-known song. Enjoy. This is All That Malarkey.
All That Malarkey!
It don't mean a thing, well, all you got to do is sing.
It's sweet, sweet, oh, she is so hot. Why don't you give that trip that rhythm into her thoughts? It don't mean a thing. All you've got to do is sing. Do-a. None of us are jazzy enough to make this effective. Whoa, yeah. Now you've got the rhythm. One more time.
Shoo-doo-doo-doo, shoo-doo-doo-wah. Shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo-wah.
Yeah. I got the rhythm, the driving beat. Feeling the rhythm as we meet. Tell me more.
Who's got the rhythm?
I got rhythm. I got music. I got my man who could ask for anything more. I got rhythm. I got music. I got my man who could ask for anything more. Oh, and I don't mind him. You won't find him. You won't find him. Oh, my God. I got starlight. I got sweet dreams. I got my man who could ask for anything more. Who could ask for anything more.
It makes no difference if it's sweet or hot.
I got rhythm.
Just give that rhythm everything you've got.
You told me everything, it ain't gonna swing.
And if we could all now stand for hymn number 144, The Baby Lamb Juggles Nightly.
God, he always looks so fit in his Sunday three-piece.
How long have you been together now, then?
3 weeks. I've done very well for myself. Surprised he said yes. I hadn't brushed my hair the morning I asked me out, and I looked like a discarded kiwi skin. So,
Tell me how it happened.
funny you should ask, Franny Wan. Funny you should ask. Rolly was a preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered round and started talking, darling Rolly would take me walking through the backyard we'd go walking. Then he'd look into my eyes. God knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever trust me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. He was. Yes, he was.
Sick sermon, Dad. That hymn was hashtag lit
Son, give me the world to me.
Hello, Reverend.
Oh, Amy, you must be the young lady Rolly was telling me about over peach cobblers last night.
Yeah, well, he's the love of my life.
Mother May, how lovely a happy, pure union, if ever I saw one. See you at midnight mass.
What was all that about? Does Reverend Lane not want you playing tonsil tennis with Roly?
Anything more than a peck on the cheek. A minister killjoy over there sends me the 10 plagues.
I bet that's frustrating. I bet all you want is a quick rough and tumble in the vestry.
Do I? You don't know the half of it, Fran. Being good isn't always easy, no matter how hard I try. When he started sweet talking to me, he'd come and tell me everything is alright. He'd hug and tell me everything is alright. Can't get away tonight.
Only one could never let you go. Was a son of a preacher man.
Baby.
Only who could get
You keep your trousers on.
was a son of a preacher man. Yes, he was.
He was.
He was.
Oh, Lord, he was.
Yes, he was.
Babes, what's up? You've been quiet all night. Hey, what are do you say we sit across from each other on the sofa and watch Naked Attraction tonight?
Brody, I'm just wondering when we can get a little closer. Your beard-ponyneck combination drives me wild!
But you know what Daddy says. No touchy. No touchy.
Fine. I suppose we ought to just hold hands then. Kinky.
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so. I only know I never want to let you go. Cause you've started something, oh can't you see? And ever since we've met you've had a hold on me. It happens to be true.
Why won't you snob me?
I only want to be with you.
You don't have to say you love me. Just be close at hand.
What if I got you some
You
cake?
don't have to say
I'll stay forever. Believe me, I can't help but love you. But believe me, I'll never tie you down. Unless you want me to.
Oh, Fran. Am I that much of a mountain troll that you won't even frolic in the cornfields with me?
I don't know what you thought you were getting yourself in for, dating a vicar's son. The Reverend Lay would be mortified. You're not really a trespass down your sacred valley.
I mean, he seems to want to. There have been moments. How well I remember the look that was in his eyes, stealing kisses from me on the sly, telling me he's a gentle guy, telling me that he's all mine, letting from each other's knowledge, looking to see how much we've grown and the only one who can ever reach me.
I will follow him. Follow him wherever he may go.
Lovely service, isn't it?
But near him I always will be.
Come on, Brady, just
For nothing can take him away. He is my destiny.
I will follow him. Ever since he touched my heart, I knew there isn't an ocean too deep, a mountain so high it can keep me away from his love.
I will follow him.
I'm the son of a preacher of faith. I'm the son of a preacher of faith.
A mountain so high it can keep me
Away from his babes. I'm sorry I kept you waiting.
Oh my God! I thought this day would never come.
Neither did I, to be perfectly honest.
So, will you marry me?
Yes, I bloody will, you hog.
Hallelujah! This is more exciting than when a miserbat could have been a kid after him!
Slow down! And so, the son of the preacher man and the frustrated and demanding children became man and wife. All thanks to the also yet frisky blessings of Reverend Lay.
The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. Jesus was. The only one who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was.
Oh, happy day!
All That Malarkey, and here they are. Well, half of them at least. We have with us Fran Gregory, who is returning to Full Stream Ahead. Hi, Fran.
Hello.
We have Amy Fuller and David George Harrington, MD
Hello.
of All That Malarkey. Hi, guys.
Hi, Jan.
Are you stressed?
No, Amy is.
A little bit hot. I'm okay.
Right, well, I have some questions for you that were written down beforehand. I mentioned that you guys formed in college, and that was, 11 years ago? How are you still going?
Well, it was going really swimmingly until we hit March of this year when a pandemic struck. We haven't any gigs. No, I jest, of course. Well, I don't jest because there is a pandemic. But no, it's been a wonderful ride where we all just happen to get on with each other loads. Lay, who's one of our tenors, whenever we're not on stage, is massaging us all quite heavily, and that gives us sort of optimism.
You do give him permission to do that, right? He has consent.
Very consensual.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's bags of determination and crystal meth. So I'm saying all about that.
Well, we've been, and we are asked back from lots of festivals and venues, aren't we? So it's kind of we're lucky actually and surprised often that they want us back the following year, and it's kind of carried on from there. But we keep it going because we love it so much, and each other, despite what's going to happen today and what horrible things David will say about us all.
I mean, you love these guys so much that you had the band, the ensemble, perform at your wedding, didn't you?
Did. Yes. Well, Fran was bridesmaid, so she was all in, and the boys sung in the service, and then David was actually self-appointed maid of honour with a 15-minute sung speech that was a surprise for
Because she wouldn't marry me, so I had to take that role, unfortunately.
No,
What did you dress up as, David, at the end?
What?
What did you dress up as?
Oh, at the end of the wedding, because I wasn't getting enough attention, I dressed up as Queen Victoria, but with a kestrel mask. A lot of my students in Cardiff saw me buying these props before the day, and they got a bit concerned. But it actually was a massive hit, and there were probably more photos of me in that than there were of the bride.
And he
That's what you want from a wedding, isn't it, Amy?
You don't want to be centre of attention or anything. It wasn't my day, so it's
Okay, well, let's veer to some stories from the road. I asked all of you to sort of come up with your favourite experience from these over 10 years of All That Malarkey. So why don't we start with Fran?
Well, you can probably imagine there's been quite a few stories, but one of my personal highlights was when we were at the Fringe in 2017, and it was actually my birthday, which made it worse really for this particular moment, because we were starting our first number and we came on the stage very dimly lit, so you could see our shadows, but the lights were down. And we had a little step to get up onto the stage, and I just fell flat on my face and decided to crawl into position instead of just getting up and pretending it hadn't happened.
Like a slug.
Like a slug.
Massive slug.
Did it get laughs before you'd even started the show?
from us on stage.
Yeah. Not from the audience. And we were like shaking with laughter because it was just ridiculous.
And she'd ruined the show.
I ruined the show, and certain members of the group don't let me forget it. So that was a good one, I think, personally, for me.
Amy, can you top that?
Well, I was going to say this was also at the Edinburgh Fringe, but a previous year, and David had done an all-nighter music, and he'd kind of lived off nothing but energy drinks and then red wine right before the show, and he did the show, and we all thought, oh my goodness, he's a really very funny colour at this point, and he's really sweating. Lots of energy, even more energy than normal for David. So it was a bit of a question mark. And then we did our bow and we finished. He came off stage and just projectile vomited onto all the tech equipment. And it was a bright orange, and it was just disgusting. And that was going to be mine. But also, having watched back Preacher Man, I think
my favourite bits are corpsing, having watched us then and Rowley kind of making up the lines as he went along, and it just it just shows how much fun we have, I think, all the corpsing. But yeah.
Before I pass over the mic to David, I have one question for Fran, and it's a really important one, because last time you were here, you were singing some very serious lieder, Frauenliebe by Löwe. Do you prefer Löwe or Harrington as a composer?
Well, Löwe doesn't make me sing ridiculous octave jumps or do a solo of Bewitched Blame It on the Weatherman in a song when nobody else gets it, and it's very embarrassing. So on those 2 points alone, I'd have to say, well, obviously I love David, but I get less embarrassed when I'm singing Löwe sometimes, because no one ever laughs at me.
How do you feel about being fired, Fran?
Well, David, the thing is, I come up with some of the best lines, so you're going to shoot yourself in the foot there, aren't you? That's right.
I think you need to stop falling over at the start of shows and do your job.
David, can you introduce the next two pieces, please?
Of course. Next on the menu, everyone watching, in just a moment, we are going to move to a crazy sketch that is one of my mum's favourite pieces. My mum is Julie Harrington, and she's a huge fan of the wonderful music of Noel Coward. So we have done a very strange version of the wonderful Mad About the Boy, which sort of emulates how much we romantically love each other in the group. But before that, I'm going to hand over to past David, who's going to introduce Beach Boys medley. Enjoy.
Over to past.
Something completely different. We're now going to do a medley of one of America's greatest rock bands of all time. But to decipher which band we're focusing on in this medley, a little quiz for you. So, ladies and gentlemen, where do Brits like to go on holiday typically? That's right, the beach. What's the...
Beach Boys!
Be quiet. There is definitely an ironic game afoot. What's the opposite of girl? Yes, let's play the game, yeah. And what's the plural of boy? Boys. Correct, the Beach Boys, ladies! A cheque for £1,000 will find out into way in the pocket of you, madam, you, sir, and we'll take your house, whoever you want. Up to you. Beach Boys! And on filming night.
Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann,
Barbara Ann,
Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, good vibration,
good vibrations.
Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann, Barbara Ann. My God only knows, wouldn't it be nice if we were older, then we wouldn't have to wait so long.
And wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong?
Vibrations.
You know it's gonna make it that much better when we say goodnight and stay together.
If we could wake up in the morning when the day is here, expect the day together, oceans falling. What happy times together we've been spending. I wish that every kiss was never ending. Oh, wouldn't it be? God only knows that.
I may not always love you, but as long as there are stars above you, you'll never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you.
With you, yeah. God only knows what I'd be without you.
God only knows what I'd be without you. get around from town to town. Yeah, I'm a real cool head. I'm making real good bread. Oh, this best of both. I'm picking up vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up good vibrations. She's giving me excitations. I'm picking up vibrations. She's giving me excitations. God only, God only, God only, God only knows that all the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. I'm in for a walk on a winter's day. I'd be safe and warm, if I were in LA.
What's the matter, Amy?
Oh, Lay, I'm in love again.
Oh?
And this time, he has put a spell on me.
Who is it this time? You fall in love more often than Julie Harrington rescues David financially.
It's my mum.
It's different this time. He makes me tremble so. My skin go pale.
Ask him out?
No! I can't. Do you think me a coward?
No?
I'm mad about the boy, and I know it's stupid to be mad about the boy.
You're not stupid, it's just irrational.
I'm so ashamed of it, but must admit the sleepless nights I've had about the boy.
So, who is it then?
Schley, I'm singing. On the silver screen, he melts my foolish heart in every single scene. Although I'm quite aware that here and there are traces of the cad about the boy.
Great song, Amy.
It would sound better in verse.
Okay.
Lord knows I'm not a fool girl. I really shouldn't care. Lord knows I'm not a schoolgirl.
She was 30 in January.
Glory of our first affair. Whatever this our diversity of misery and joy. I'm feeling quite insane and young again.
Young again.
And all because I'm mad about the boy.
So, what's the guy?
He had me at love. I could just spread him on a snackerjack.
Yes, I suppose you could. I'm mad about the boy. It's pretty funny, but I'm mad about the boy.
What?
has a gay appeal that makes me feel there may be something sad about the boy. Walking down the street, his eyes look out at me through people that I meet. I can't believe it's true, but when I blew, in some strange way I'm glad about the boy.
I never liked him anyway. Only lust. I'll just have to grow old and rust like a ginger tugboat.
Love isn't so sublime.
Be flexible.
I have to pay my rental.
It for you.
I can't afford to waste much time. Will it employ this odd diversity of misery and joy? I feel quite insane and lonely, all because I'm mad about the boy.
You're not in this one, Fran. Oh, darling, would a snog make you feel better?
Go on then.
But it would never work out because I prefer.
What a beautiful, beautiful little love story there between the boys. I'm glad that we got to experience that in the flesh. And here they are. Say hello, everybody. Introduce thyselves.
Hey.
This is Rolly, and this is Lay, and that's still David. He's still here, keeping us all in check.
Hello, David.
So obviously you got an opportunity to really demonstrate your love for each other in that one. But is it all love in the game, or is it a little bit? Is David a bit of a taskmaster behind the scenes? I've got to see a little bit in the Skype chat during the bit, and he really calls you some really nasty names. And I feel like now's your opportunity to really get that out and call for help if you need to.
I think
Yeah, go on, Rowan.
David, I think David knows really well when to draw the line. I think he's really good at having a laugh, and then he's also knows when to just be kind of making sure we actually do some work as well, which is really great. And he does have a sharp tongue when he wants to. He can wield it with surgical precision. It's powerful stuff.
As I've experienced, I'm a little terrified of him myself, and I've only ever seen him through webcams the whole time. Not always when he's looking, but you know.
No one's ever said I've had a sharp tongue before.
Is that
Most people say I'm very pleasant and gentle.
He has a heart of gold, of course,
and a tongue of sponge.
Yeah.
He takes no nonsense.
Yeah, he doesn't take no nonsense. I do agree.
No.
Yeah.
And going through the rehearsal process with David is a lot of fun because the way he writes stuff, it just makes you think, wow, that is fantastic. And it's just like what came out of his mind, we're trying to sing, and he knows exactly what he wants, and it's absolutely fantastic. And everybody says so. When we go to shows, they go, "Oh, that was fantastic." I always see David glad handing, and he's always going, "Yeah, that was great." Oh, don't be stupid. It's nothing at all. But we know behind the scenes, it's all his creative genius that we're interpreting for an audience.
This is how you keep your job. Juan, take notice wherever you are.
Yeah, Fran just looked very nervous in the Skype chat, must be said. So David, when you're writing these pieces, are you thinking of their particular voices and their particular comedic skills in mind, or because I know that there's a bit of a rotating cast throughout the years. Do you sort of like write specific jokes for specific people, or do you know everyone that you work with so well that you know that they're just going to land every single joke whenever it comes up?
That's a damn fine question, and here's a damn fine answer for it. It tends to start with my sharp tongue. That usually does most of the work. No, I'll tell you what. It's a good question because it never started with that. It was purely just arranging for the music and finding interesting harmonies, and then it's been fascinating over the years working with these singers for so long, learning how they work. And how to make them shine in the best possible way, sometimes not making it easy for them, but I know sort of where they can shine comedically and vocally, and then they've sort of fallen into kind of character archetypes, I suppose, as the years have gone on. So Amy's kind of is kind of the butt of a lot of jokes sometimes, but very sarcastic character as well, so she has got quite a lot of control. Wan gets all the funniest lines, as she's said before, and Lay and Roly sometimes try and make them kiss.
As I've noticed in quite a few of the videos that we've got, there's a lot of snogging. There's a lot of love, whether forced or otherwise.
Well, you work hard, you play hard.
Ain't that the truth?
Can we scrap that bit? Can you?
Absolutely, we'll take that off. We'll take that off and make sure you guys get it. But of course, I imagine your relationship with each other creates such like an enjoyable experience. You must get people in the crowds sort of joining in with you, like as we heard in the Beach Boys medley. You had a little bit of feedback, shall we say? Do you have like a routine? Do you guys have like a routine that you go through in terms of like how to deal with hecklers, or do you just go with it on the fly?
We just set David loose on them, and he
I know, with his viper tongue, just nabbing them.
I think what's more interesting is when it goes wrong, and then it's not so much the audience heckling us as I heckle them. So I have to tell you, when we did Swing Thing in a show once, at the end of doing Swing Thing, I usually do this gag where I'm like, oh, did that get your toe tapping, madam? Or is it a serious medical problem, like that, to whoever's in the front row? And I just unfortunately picked some woman in the front row of this gig in West Sussex. And I said, did that get your toe tapping, madam? And then I just looked down and she had this enormous cast on her leg and foot. And it's not your normal cast, it was a huge contraption and there was something very wrong. And then I couldn't stop my mouth, so I went, or is it a serious medical problem?
Oh, no.
And she looked so sad, and I think something really happened with that family, and I just had to work my arse off to try and cover that one up. And I assure you, we won her over, and I apologised and sort of just made her laugh after that, but I couldn't believe my misfortune.
Laughter through the tears, yes. Well, the damage was done by that point, David. Has she been to another one of your shows since? Has she ever returned to one of your shows?
Certainly not.
Now we know, don't we? But do you
We've lost a lot of audience.
Lost a lot of audience. Well, it's their own fault for sitting on the front row, quite frankly. Lay, have you got any sort of embarrassing stories from the tours, from the shows that I'm sure don't quite match up to David's? Surely.
The first one that actually comes to mind is back in the summer of last year, we were reprising our Glitterball show, which celebrates the LGBTQ composers and singer-songwriters. And the opening number is based off a song from the Producers called Keep It Gay. And we just come out with holding flags, and we walk around the stage and then stop and go, hi, we're here, and we carry on. And then, because the stage that we were on, I think it was the King's Head Theatre, if I'm not mistaken, was a bit uneven. So my heel gets caught on the bit that's sticking up. So I do a massive tumble backward and almost fall completely off the stage into the front row. So I did manage to save myself, thank God. And nobody noticed until we watched the recording back and everybody was going, what are you doing? And I was going, remember doing it.
I'm sensing a pattern here that
But that's my story.
you guys seem to really struggle to walk onto stages without falling over for some reason. Have you ever considered maybe like a ramp for every show?
We're all really
Well, yeah, clearly. You should all just not drink before the show. That'd be amazing. I think you'll be
Is
right.
David?
So cool, Rolly.
Uh,
Oh, there we
Come
go.
on, Rolly.
Rolly, what about yourself?
Oh, I'd have to say when David, when we started a tour it was a Christmas tour, and we started in Portsmouth, and David had a kind of wardrobe malfunction with his trousers. He was being making very big, broad gestures in conducting a choir, and he split his trousers, and much to the hilarity of the audience. And it went down so well that for the subsequent following gigs, David went out of his way to the shops to buy more trousers to purposefully damage in order to recreate the incident. And I just thought that was such dedication, commendable dedication
to the bit.
entertainment. Yeah.
It cost a
Yeah,
fortune.
so
It cost a fortune.
it was worth every trouser.
I hope you're wearing underwear on the show during that.
No one ever knows.
We'll find out.
He was. Thank goodness.
So you do have these little things that they sort of develop as they go on. Do you guys have like when you're rehearsing, does somebody organise and choreograph the whole show, or do you sort of pick out little moments while you're doing them and sort of chuck them all together and like melting pot style? Who's dance captain basically? I just want to know.
I think we all chip in a little bit to each song. I think the girls are the masterminds really behind the choreography.
Yeah.
And Rolly and I just chip in a couple of ideas on specific lines that might grab the audience attention or make somebody laugh or just in general make us laugh.
So
if it's like
so the girls
like a silly
then,
little...
you guys just ride their coattails, take all the credit.
Yeah.
I see how it is. Yeah.
We just that's all grand. That's what I did.
Well, I think maybe I'd be very interested to see what sort of dance moves you guys could bring to the table. I'd be interested to see what happens there. A couple pas de ball raise, maybe a box step or two.
My suggestions would be all very kind of deep sea fish and a bit lobster-esque, but they never seem to take my ideas on board when it comes to choreography.
Well, why on earth not? I mean, you're the head honcho, no? You've already fired Fran.
I've got a few replacements in mind as well.
All ready to go. Listen,
Very
guys.
non-slug.
Listen, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hang out with us and join us for a little chat. Oh, David, you got something else to say? Something else for the class?
Oh no, I just wanted to shout out a lovely man called Nigel, who is Fran's dad, and I'd like him to replace Fran in the group ideally. So that's Nigel.
There you go, Nigel. If you're out there, if you're watching, please get in touch. You've got a job. More than any of the rest of us at this point, but well done. We're all here. We're all okay. That's fine. I'm not upset. I'm not disappointed. This wasn't my audition. It's okay. Listen, guys, thank you so much for and all of the people who are on the Skype chat who can't quite see us right now. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with us and joining us and sharing with us your amazing show and your amazing lives and your amazing selves and personalities and jokes and smiles. Thank you for being here, David. Please let us know what the next two songs are about. Thank you.
Very well, very well. In a moment, we're going to perform for you a rather sort of down-tempo duet, which was made famous by Roberta Flack in 1972. And it's sort of a chance for the two sopranos to have a beautiful moment singing a very tender ballad. But before that, we're going to perform a really insane medley of songs from an era that's kind of our era, I suppose, except Amy because she's an old hag. But we were all sort of born in the 90s. So we thought we'd cram together all of the most ridiculous and best loved songs from the 90s and put them into a medley called the 90s Medley.
The 90s Medley. Well, speak for yourself. I was born in 2001. I'm 14 years old. Thank you so much. Enjoy the 90s Medley.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When you're feeling sad
herself to be the biggest fool. And the changy, the little homies wanna be like on my knees in the night saying prayers.
Our corner, the big spending most their lives living in a gangster's paradise. The big spending most their lives living in a gangster's paradise. We keep spending most our lives living in a gangster's paradise. Reach the stars. All that malarkey, reach for the stars. Climb every mountain higher. Reach for the stars. Follow your heart's desire. Reach for the stars. And when that rainbow shining over you, that's when your dreams will all come. Hit me, baby, one more time. The first time ever I saw your face, I thought the sun rose in your arms. And the moon and the stars were the gifts you gave to the dark and the empty skies. First time ever I kissed your mouth, I felt the earth move in my hand, like a trembling heart, like the trembling heart of a captive bird that must stay at my command, my love. And the first time ever I lay with you, I felt your heart so close to mine, and I knew a joy could fill the earth, and last and last and last till the end of time, my love. The first time ever I saw
Whoa! Where have Jamie and Jan gone? Jeepers, guys! I mean, they've just left us in the lurch. Jeepers! Jeez, it just looks like it's All That Malarkey. Where are the organisers? Cripes! Oh well, I guess we'll have to wrap up on their behalf in this unscripted bit.
So we have lots of gin, isn't it?
Lots of gin, Amy, gin keeper. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching this show this evening. And if you have enjoyed this live stream, we're doing this because Jan and Jamie have just disappeared for some reason. Then why not back the full stream ahead on Patreon? There's a little link in All That Marketing and also on this YouTube link as well. They will use the money raised to subsidise recordings of new content for young musicians in these difficult times. And more difficult times are they when Amy drops her camera.
And now I've got something to say.
You got something to say.
I do, which is if you have videos to share or recitals that you would like recorded, please use Jan and Jamie. They're fantastic. They haven't bribed us at all to say any of this. We've used them. Fran, you've used them for solo work. Claire, to share some
brilliant.
adjectives.
Very good. I've not worked with Jamie. Jan, brilliant.
But you have now, haven't you?
I have now.
Yeah.
No, but
no.
That's great. Use them.
No, they are really brilliant. They are fab.
Speaking of brilliant, let's have a big shout out to the wonderful Grandad Doug, who is All That Malarkey.
Yeah.
Hey, Grandad Doug. No reply.
Made it to the end.
Leigh and Rowley, have you got anything you want to say in this takeover?
Well, I think.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Shall we introduce the last number?
Yeah.
I think that's the best thing to do. Right. The final number, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to do an epic finisher for you now, which is really insane. It was probably the crowning glory of one of our shows that Leigh mentioned earlier, Glitterball, which was a celebration of lots of LGBT artists and songwriters that we did in the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama many, many, many years ago. Amy, could you stop having drugs?
Sorry.
And it was a big medley to celebrate lots of very, 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 very camp and beautifully colourful music. And we didn't know what to call it, so we sat round a huge mahogany table that was covered in wax and small pelicans that was sort of having conversations about burgundy lemonade. And we suddenly said, well, what should we call this piece that's made up of lots of super camp music? And we called it Super Medley! Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Humidity's rising, corrupt is getting low. According to all sources, the street's the place to go. Just tonight for the first time, and just about 10:30 for the first time, it's the
right round like a record, baby, right round, round, round. You spin me right round, baby, right round like a record, baby, right round, round, round. I can be brown, I can be blue, I can be violet sky, I can be hurtful, I can be purple, I can be anything you like. Got to be green, got to be mean, everything, everything you like. You like me, walk out the door.
All the things she said, all the things she said, running through my head, running through my head, running through my head.
All the things she said, all the things she said, running through my head, running through my head, running through my head.
I kissed a girl and I liked the taste of her cherry chapstick.
Come, chameleon. You come and go. You come and go. Nothing would be easy if your colors were like my dreams. Red, gold, and green.
Boy George, boy George.
Red, gold, and green.
Oh boy, boy.
Relax, don't do it when you want to go to it. Relax, don't do it when you want to come. My heart is full of love and desire for you. So come on down and do what you got to do. You started this fire down in my soul. Now can't you see it's burning out of control? So come on down and satisfy this